Hey, it's Rod Thorson, Classic Hits 1039 WLPO. As you know, if you listen to the show, I like to make some wild predictions from time to time. And hey, you never know. One of them might come true, right? I said this a couple of weeks ago about the NRA. The local NRA chapters, they'll raise some money. They'll auction off some artwork and some guns and things like that. They might raise 10 grand, five figures. Every county doesn't even have one, though. And so they keep part of the money and then they send some of it off to the national, state and national too, for that matter. But when I heard that the national NRA spent a couple $100 million on lobbying, I thought, wait a minute, those numbers don't add up. They don't scan. There's no way that the money that they raise from their membership, even through magazine sales or whatnot, adds up to the amount of money that they use for lobbying. It's just impossible. Now, of course, the manufacturers might give them some cash too. Well, it turns out that they're getting some money from overseas or offshore sources. They say they don't use it for lobbying, but regardless of that, have you ever known somebody, maybe you had somebody in the neighborhood and they were living way beyond their means, and then all of a sudden you found out the reason why, and it's something that they kept secret. Maybe it's something that's unseemly, and other times it's just something that you didn't know about. I am going to go out on a limb here, and this is just wild speculation on my part, okay? It's just a guess. I have no evidence at all. I'm wondering if during the Mueller investigation, it has been found that the Trump campaign for president, was getting money from illicit sources. Here's why I think that, or I wonder that. I went to a Trump campaign rally in Muscatine, Iowa. I mean, the place was crawling with paid staff, paid security. They paid for the venue, and they weren't raising money. People walked in. You could get a ticket for free. I mean, this event cost maybe $100,000. I don't know. I mean, it was a big event. And then the president's traveling with his entourage and buses and planes and things. It was the only political event I've ever been to that didn't charge something or expect something. Now they sold a couple of hats. I mean, it was just, it's not a big deal. Now, think about what has just happened in Illinois with two billionaires, legit billionaires, Pritzker and Rauner. And we know they're billionaires because they've released their tax returns. And what they spent per day just in a primary in Illinois. Now, compound that to a nationwide campaign. Now, I'm sure Donald Trump's pretty well healed. But I'm wondering this morning where the money came from to run a nationwide campaign. And it wasn't all volunteers. A lot of people on the payroll. A lot of a huge machine to oversee and to mobilize nationwide for a year. I mean, they did these rallies twice a day for months on end with no expectation that anybody was paying. So I'm wondering where the money comes from for that, even though as well-heeled as he may be. All of this was just himself writing checks, having these events. So it's just pure speculation. It's a wild guess after being at his rally. Now, I've been to a lot of political rallies. I've hosted political rallies. There's always some expectation that they're going to pass the hat until I went to this one in Muscatine. And my wild guess is that when the dust settles and the smoke clears and we find out why the FBI, with a warrant from the Justice Department, signed by a judge, went into the personal attorney, Michael Cohen's office, and seized documents, my guess is that it has something to do with who or what financed the campaign and not just the payment to Stormy Daniels. There it is. Now, if it's true, I'm going to be back on here on my YouTube channel. Back on the air Thursday after taking tomorrow off on Classic Hits 1039 WLPO. Thanks for watching.